Hey guys, and welcome back to the briefing room. So, the Sterling family has always been a curious one. But the strangest thing about the family of all comes from a line from Dana.
And people I left behind.
Oh? Was one of them a boyfriend?
No, don't be silly. Just a younger brother.
No, don't be silly. Just a younger brother. Just a younger brother.
This, of course, comes from the Japanese version bleeding its way into the adaptation. For instance, the novel changes the line to, no, not really. And there's no reference to it whatsoever. Even in the planned sequel to the series, The Sentinels, there was no plans for there to be a Sterling son. So why is this? What happened to the son of Max? And why is there no reference to him later? I actually have two theories on this. The first one is a little less likely, but that could change based on how Harmony Gold decides to handle Shadows Rising and any other possible sequel that we might have after Shadows Rising. The second, I think, is a little bit more plausible and does play into an already established story feature in the Robotech Masters. Now, the first theory is that, of course, he was born to Max and Miria, and he became a non-combatant, or he became a pilot, and unlike his parents and unlike his sisters, he was much less effective in combat. This also seems to be supported by another very curious line from Maya in the Shadow Chronicles.
Yeah, I know how you feel. Most of my family was aboard the SDF-3. I don't even know if they're still alive.
If it's just her parents on the SDF-3, why didn't she just say her parents? If Dana was on the SDF-3, why wouldn't she just say all of my family is on the SDF-3? The word she specifically chose was most. Now, there are several things to debunk this theory as well. The biggest issue with this is that in order for Dana to have known about her brother, he would have had to have been born, or at least Miria would have had to be far enough into the pregnancy that they knew what the gender of the child was. Now, based on the material we've seen and read, that does not seem to be the case. So, like I said, very unlikely, but I just wanted to throw that theory out there because we don't know anything about Shadows Rising, and with Maya's very interesting line in the Shadow Chronicles, there could be a possibility of there being a Sterling son in Shadows Rising. Now, the much more likely theory, and the one I tend to believe in this instant, and the one that seems to be backed up with other structures in the story, is that, remember, Dana was born in 2012. The Robotech expedition left in 2022, meaning Dana was 10 when the expedition left, meaning she would have had to have been left with some guardians. And this is further supported by the fact that Bowie, who is a year younger than Dana, was also left with guardians. And in the novels, she was left with the 3 Zentradi spies. But, of course, the novels are questionable in the overall canon. Now, what I believe is that this little brother she mentions is not actually biologically related to her, but rather the child of whoever her guardian ended up being, whether it was the Zentradi spies or another character we don't know of. It was just a child of those guardians, or it could even be Bowie. She and Bowie have a very close relationship too. And like I said, Bowie is a year younger than her, so he could be the little brother she referred to. It's always interesting to see little errors in Robotech that either, for in this instance and several instances actually in the Robotech Masters, where they kept something from the Japanese version that has absolutely no basis or is against everything else we learn in the rest of the Robotech story, simply because they kept it from Japanese to English because of the quick turnaround time. But that's the beauty of it as well, because that allows us, the fans, and the community to discuss some of these errors and try to find a fix for them. And that's the beauty of it. And if it turns out there's a different explanation explained later along the way, like for instance if they do decide to have a Sterling Sun in Shadows Rising, thus negating the second theory in this video, then all's well, because it's still answering questions to issues we have. So, what do you guys think? Who do you think Dana's little brother is? And do you have a better explanation than what I came up with? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys later.